Good morning to all the NEET aspirants. Welcome back to our 100 concept session for NEET 2026. This is your Prasanna Ma'am, and today we are going to start the chapter Plant Kingdom, from where we can expect at least 3 questions in our final NEET examination for sure. What are the contents we have to cover from this chapter? Okay, so the fundamental insights of this chapter goes like classification systems initially, where we have to learn the 3 classification systems, that is artificial system, natural system and phylogenetic system of classification. What are the who are the proponents of this classification system and what are the components of this classification system, and then branches of taxonomy. Branches of taxonomy include numerical taxonomy, cytotaxonomy and chemotaxonomy. And then we will look into the 5 divisions of plant kingdom. First it is Thallophyta, that is algae. Second, which are the amphibians of plant kingdom, those are Bryophyta. Third, first terrestrial vascular cryptogams, those are Pteridophytes, and then gymnosperms and angiosperms. These are the 5 divisions of our plant kingdom, okay? And then we will look into the plant life cycles and then alternation of generations. Of course, life cycles is deleted in our official NEET syllabus, but then life cycles are prerequisites to learn the 5 divisions on whole, okay? Let us begin with the classification system, branches of taxonomy and algae today, okay? We will be completing till algae beta. So here if you see plant kingdom, of course just now we have discussed, we have cryptogams which are non-flowering plants and phanerogams which are flowering plants. These are also called as spermatophytes because they are seed bearing. We have gymnosperms and angiosperms. Non-flowering plants we have primitive plants, that is algae, then bryophytes and pteridophytes. And then classification systems initially. So first we have artificial system of classification. Who proposed the artificial system of classification? Linnaeus and Aristotle were the scientists who first proposed the artificial system of classification, who focused mainly on gross morphological characteristics like habit, color, number, shape of the leaves. So only morphological characters are considered here in the artificial system of classification. Mainly it is based on vegetative parts and on the andrecium structure, okay? Vegetative parts and andrecium structure, important point to be remembered, okay? Now, the major drawbacks of this artificial system of classification includes like equal weightage is given to vegetative and sexual characters. When equal weightage is given to vegetative and sexual characters, vegetative characters will keep on changing based on the environment it is adapted to. So those characters which keep on changing cannot be the criteria for the classification. So that is one of the major drawback. Here vegetative characters are easily affected by the environment. So this is all about artificial system of classification. 3 major points to be remembered over here beta. First is who are the proponents of it, then gross morphological characters are considered, and what are the major drawbacks. Along with morphological characters, andrecium structure has been noticed over here. So these are the points you have to remember from artificial system of classification. Then comes our natural system of classification. Who proposed the natural system of classification? George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker. They have proposed the natural system of classification. This is based on natural affinities, wherein both the gross morphological characters, those are external characters, and internal characters are considered for classification. So this is based on natural affinities among the organisms. This is along with internal features like ultrastructure, anatomy, embryology and phytochemistry is considered along with the external features. Clear, right ma? So this is about natural system of classification. And lastly, phylogenetic system of classification. Who are the proponents of the phylogenetic system of classification? Engler, Prantl and Hutchinson. These are the scientists who proposed the phylogenetic system of classification, wherein based on the evolutionary relationships, this classification is mainly based on the evolutionary relationships between the various organisms, wherein organisms belonging to the same taxa, they have common ancestor, okay, common ancestor to the organisms which belong to the same taxa. This criteria is considered to the most, the common ancestry is considered to the most in phylogenetic system of classification. So, what you have to remember with respect to phylogenetic system of classification? Evolutionary relationships are considered and common ancestry, okay, common ancestry which belongs to the same taxa. Clear till here, right ma? Next, branches of taxonomy. We have numerical taxonomy, chemotaxonomy and cytotaxonomy. Quite a times the questions have been asked from this concept, branches of taxonomy, especially from numerical and chemotaxonomy. So, focus here ma. In numerical taxonomy, what is the benefit is all the observable characters assigned with codes, numbers, they are easily carried using computers, and here many characters can be analyzed at a single moment because they are being assigned with some plus, minus and 0 signs. So, we can consider many characters in a single time. So, each character is given equal importance over here. Hundreds of characters are considered at same time because all are having codes, okay, which are saved in the memory. So, this is about numerical taxonomy which is called as phonetics. Next is cytotaxonomy. In cytotaxonomy, this is keenly based on cytological information like chromosome number, structure and behavior, not chromosome shape. We will be asking the question with 4 options giving like chromosome shape, chromosome number, chromosome structure and chromosome behavior. Eliminate the odd one, then you have to eliminate chromosome shape, because in cytotaxonomy the cytological information like what are considered ma? Chromosome number, chromosome structure and chromosome behavior are considered, okay. Next, chemotaxonomy. Chemotaxonomy, it is based on what? Chemical constituents of plants, okay. Chemical constituents which are present in a cell, that are being considered in chemotaxonomy. So, this is all about the systems of classification and branches of taxonomy. Clear, right ma? Now, let us begin with our first division, that is algae, which is also called as Thallophyta, okay, Thallophyta, which are primitive plants. First, let us look into its general characteristic features. So, what are algae? All the organisms are chlorophyll bearing, simple, thalloid, where the body is not differentiated into root, stem and leaf. It is just a thalloid, undifferentiated plant body. What is thalloid ma? Undifferentiated plant body. So, undifferentiated plant body is thalloid and it is autotrophic in mode of nutrition. So, this is about algae, and then these are largely aquatic. If you have to look into its habitat, it is largely aquatic, whereas some are symbionts like lichens and lichens on the sloth bear. They are like symbionts, okay. So, lichens, they are the association between algae and fungi. So, this in lichens, what is the role of algae? Providing food is the role of algae, and on sloth bear, it is giving camouflage activity. It is giving camouflage activity on the sloth bear, and sloth bear is being escaped from the predators, okay. So, algae which is on the surface of the sloth bear will make it appear green in color, and the sloth bear can easily escape from the predators. So, it is facilitating camouflage activity over here. So, this is the habitat and the symbiotic association. One is lichen and second is on the surface of sloth bear as mentioned in our NCERT. Next, algae is highly variable in form and size. We have unicellular, colonial, filamentous and marine forms of algae. Unicellular algae include Chlamydomonas and Chlorella also you can take, Chlorella and Spirulina. So, these are unicellular algae. Colonial include Volvox and Eudorina, filamentous Ulothrix and Spirogyra, marine and filamentous you can also consider Cladophora. And then marine forms include kelps, which form massive plant bodies deeper inside the oceans. Okay? And then see, you have unicellular Chlamydomonas, multicellular colonial Volvox, wherein in Volvox you can see the parental colony and the daughter colony inside, and then Spirogyra, which is filamentous, multicellular, and kelps, which are massive plant bodies deeper inside the oceans and seas. And then vascular tissues are absent in algae. That is why most of the algal bodies are what? Aquatic. Most, not all the algal bodies are aquatic. Only very few they are showing what? Symbiotic association. When it comes to reproduction, vegetative mode of reproduction is purely fragmentation, wherein parental thalloid body will be fragmented and each fragment will give rise to a new plant body. Okay? So, fragmentation is the only mode of vegetative reproduction. Then asexual mode of reproduction is by spores. Okay, asexual mode of reproduction is by what? Spores, like zoospores, aplanospores and hypnospores. Next, sexual mode of reproduction is of three types: isogamous, anisogamous and oogamous mode. Isogamous mode, wherein both male and female gametes are structurally and physiologically same, whereas anisogamous, male and female gametes can be either structurally or functionally different. Oogamous, small motile male gamete will be fertilizing with the large non-motile female gamete. So, these are the three different modes of sexual reproduction. And here the sex organs or the gametes are non-jacketed, whereas in bryophytes and pteridophytes you can see the jacketed sex organs. Here the sex organs are non-jacketed and they are unicellular. So, this is a brief account on the modes or types of reproduction in algae. And then if you see here about spores, asexual reproduction is by zoospores, wherein they are motile. Clear, right? Next, aplanospores. Aplanospores are non-motile. Fine. Hypnospores are a type of aplanospores, but then they are surrounded with a thick cell wall. Okay, they are surrounded with a thick cell wall. Okay, and they also serve like organs of perennation sometimes. Fine. That is the primary difference between aplanospores and hypnospores. And then sexual reproduction, as I told you, we have isogamy, anisogamy and oogamy. Isogamy, you can see the similarity of structure and physiology in both male gametes and female gamete, isogamous. Best examples, we have to remember the examples at any cost because the questionnaire will be arising mostly from the examples only. So, here isogamous mode of sexual reproduction is mostly observed in Ulothrix, which are motile male and female gametes, and in Spirogyra non-motile gametes will be fused. Clear, ma? Next, anisogamy best example is Eudorina, and oogamy best examples are Volvox, Fucus and Polysiphonia. Volvox from green algae, from brown algae it is Fucus, and from red it is Polysiphonia, red algae. So, remember the examples: isogamous with motile gametes it is Ulothrix, non-motile it is Spirogyra. Anisogamy best example is Eudorina. Oogamous, Volvox, Fucus and Polysiphonia. Clear, right, ma? Now, let us look into the classification of algae. What is the main basis of the classification in algae? It is mainly based on the pigmentation, flagellation and storage bodies and cell wall. Okay. So, primarily on what basis the classification of algae happened, ma? It is based on pigmentation, flagellation, storage bodies and cell wall. As such, we have three classes. One is Chlorophyceae, which is green algae, second is Phaeophyceae, which is brown algae, and third is Rhodophyceae, which is red algae. Let us look into each class in detail. First is Chlorophyceae. In Chlorophyceae we can have unicellular, colonial and filamentous forms. Habitat, mostly it is freshwater, and pigmentation is grass green. It is grass green in color because of what pigments? Chlorophyll A, B, which are present in the chloroplast. Okay? And here storage bodies include pyrenoids. Pyrenoids will be having protein besides starch, which means that protein and starch both are present in the pyrenoids. Pyrenoids are inside the chloroplast, remember that. So, inside chloroplast what pigments are present? Chlorophyll A and B, and then what are the storage bodies which are present in the green algae inside chloroplast? Those are pyrenoids which contain proteins besides starch. And then some green algae are there which are having what? Oil droplets. And then here you see cell wall is rigid with outer pectose layer and inner cellulose layer. Okay, cell wall will be rigid in green algae with outer pectose layer and inner cellulose layer. Reproduction, if you see, we have three modes of reproduction. First, vegetative mode, fragmentation. Asexual mode, zoosporangia or zoospores. Third is sexual mode, isogamous, anisogamous and oogamous. Need not to discuss examples over here because we have previously discussed the same examples in our previous slide. Okay. So, and then here if you see chloroplast shapes. Okay. Shapes of the chloroplast. In green algae, we have Chlamydomonas, which is cup shaped chloroplast. Chlamydomonas has cup shaped chloroplast. Spirogyra will be having spiral or ribbon shaped chloroplast. Chara is having what shaped? Discoid shaped. Next, Phaeophyceae, which is the second class. Okay, second class is what? Phaeophycean members. Here the habitat of Phaeophycean members are marine habitat mostly, and then habit includes, this also shows great variation in size and form of the algae from simple branched filamentous ectocarpus to profusely branched forms kelps. Okay. Pigmentation, if you see, we have chlorophyll A, C, carotenoids and xanthophylls. Fucoxanthin is the major pigment that is present in Phaeophycean members, which gives many shades from olive green to various shades of brown color. Okay. And then storage bodies here include complex carbohydrates like laminarin and mannitol. Okay. Cell wall here is cellulosic. Over the cellulosic cell wall, it has a hydrocolloid called as algin. Okay. Algin hydrocolloid is the gelatinous coat over the cell wall which is cellulosic. Okay. And then reproduction is the same mode. Vegetative, it is fragmentation. Asexual, it is having biflagellate zoospores. Sexual, gametes include pyriform type with on fusion in water. Okay, with small motile male gamete and large non-motile female gamete, that is oogonium. In our NCERT, three different brown algae are given. Those are laminaria, second is fucus, third will be dictyota. In laminaria, you can see three clear structures. Those are holdfast, which is holding the body onto the substrata, and then small stipe and the leaf-like structures frond. So, three holdfast, stipe and frond are present in laminaria. Remember, that is important. Whereas in fucus, stipe is not present, only holdfast and frond are present, and in fucus you can see air bladders in frond. Okay. This air bladders are also called as pneumatocytes. Pneumatocytes. Okay, which will help or facilitate the fucus in buoyancy. Next is dictyota. Dictyota is just having stipe and frond here will show dichotomous branching. Dichotomous branching. Remember this very important. So, pneumatocytes or air bladders are observed in fucus, dichotomous branching is observed in dictyota, and these are kelps. Next, Rhodophyceae. Third class is Rhodophyceae, which is having multicellular, some will be having complex body organization. Habitat, if you have to look into, most of them are marine. They are found in warmer areas with high light intensity regions which are closer to the surface area, and greater depth in oceans also. Being greater depths inside the ocean, they are conducting photosynthesis because they have water soluble pigments. Those are R-phycoerythrin and R-phycocyanin. Phycobilins, which are water soluble, they are present in the red algae. That is the reason they can conduct photosynthesis even when they are in deeper depths of oceans and seas. And what is the chlorophyll pigment combination in Rhodophyceae? Chlorophyll A and T. You can remember it easily. In Chlorophyceae, it is chlorophyll A and B. In Phaeophyceae, it is chlorophyll A and C. In Rhodophyceae, it is chlorophyll A and D. Clear, right, ma? Next, reserve food material over here is Floridian starch. Okay. Cell wall is having cellulose, pectin and polysulfate esters, and over the cell wall it has agar, carrageen and fumarate type of hydrocolloids. Okay. Agar, carrageen and fumarate type of hydrocolloids are present. Reproduction is vegetative fragmentation. Asexual spores include non-motile spores like aplanospores and hypnospores. Sexual reproduction is in between non-motile gametes, strictly oogamous type of sexual reproduction. Here the male gamete is said as spermatium and female gamete is carpogonium. Fine. And these are the structures. Like best examples of Rhodophyceae include Porphyra, Polysiphonia which is branched, Giladium and Gracilaria. Fine. So, this is the chart which is given in our NCERT for sure. Many at times the question is asked from this table directly, ma. So, this is the comparative analysis of Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae and Rhodophyceae. Chlorophyceae A and B, stored food is starch, cell wall is having cellulose, and how many flagella? 2 to 8 flagella which are equal and apical. What is the habitat? Freshwater, brackish water and salt water. Phaeophycean members commonly called as brown algae, it has chlorophyll A and C combination and fucoxanthin which gives various shades of olive green to brown color. Storage food is mannitol and laminarin. Cell wall is cellulose and algin it has, and it has 2 unequal lateral flagella. Fine. And then Rhodophyceae, commonly called as red algae, it has water soluble pigment phycoerythrin and chlorophyll combination is A and D. Storage food material is Floridian starch. Cell wall is having cellulose, pectin and polysulfate esters. Flagella is absent because they have non-motile gametes, that is spermatium and carpogonium. And then economic importance of algae. Quite at times the questions arise from economic importance of algae too. So, here if you see, first primary use of algae is algal photosynthesis. Half of the total carbon dioxide fixation on earth is primarily by algal photosynthesis only, and this increases the rate of dissolved oxygen in aquatic bodies, and algae being the primary producers, they form the basis for food cycles of all the aquatic animals, and around 70 species of marine algae are used as food. Best examples include Porphyra, Laminaria and Sargassum. Food supplements for this, mostly unicellular algae like Chlorella and Spirulina are used as food supplements by space travelers. Hydrocolloids of the marine algae, brown and red algae. Brown algae hydrocolloids is algin, red algae will be having agar and carrageen. These are commercially used. Okay. Gracilaria and Giladium, which are the red algae, the agar which is produced from this is used in microbial culture, and it is also used in preparation of ice creams and jellies. Rich source of iodine are kelps like Laminaria and Fucus. This is the last slide of algae which says about the life cycle. Life cycle of algae is haplontic life cycle. Okay. Haplontic life cycle. Of course, there are few exceptions which I will tell you later, like ectocarpus will be having haplodiplontic life cycle, fucus is having diplontic life cycle. Exceptions I will be dealing tomorrow, but then the major life cycle which we consider for algae is haplontic life cycle. So, in this haplontic life cycle, if you have to see the major plant body is haploid, of course, and male and female gametes are haploid, which forms a zygote which is diploid. And here in this life cycle, what type of meiosis happens is zygotic meiosis. Okay, zygotic meiosis occurs, which releases the zoospores which further develop into the main body. Okay, main algal body. Fine. So, here the only diploid cell in the complete life cycle is what? Zygote. And what type of meiosis happens over here? Zygotic meiosis. Clear, right, ma? So, this is all about the algae that we have covered completely for our NEET. Okay. So, once again look into this class keenly, where we have covered each and every point without any exception. Fine, ma? So, I would like to end up this session by giving you a brief intro about our special programs which are in NEET World. So, we have NEET World's 2 Step 2 Medicine for 11th standard students, NEET World 1 Step 2 Medicine for 12th standard students, Power Step for long terms. All the 3 programs are for the same fee, 3333 per month, with complete packages and master revision strokes. To know more about these courses, you can call us to the given number or directly visit our branch which is in Narayanguda, Hyderabad. That's all for today. We'll meet tomorrow with the concept of bryophytes and pteridophytes. Thank you.